Mississippi State has officially fired head coach Chris Lemonis. What does it mean? Where do the Bulldogs go from here? And the question is this: was it the right move? And does the timing make any sense? Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Phillips, SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. As always, guys, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast, where we get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms as well as our website, SECUnfiltered.com. And as always, we're powered by our friends over at FANDUEL. Visit FANDUEL.com/SECU to join today and get started with $200 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. Once again, that's FANDUEL.com/SECU to get $200 in bonus bets today. Mississippi State baseball with the shocking news of this Monday, April the 28th, 2025, as head coach Chris Lemonis was officially relieved of his duties, and we are here reacting to the news. Number one, what about the timing? With this coming about 3/4 of the way through the season, just 3 SEC baseball weekends left, so more than 3/4 of the way through the season. What do we make of the timing? Was it the right move? Who should State go get? And what's the overall state of the program? Got a lot of things I want to say, a lot of things I want to discuss, and I want to hear from you all as well. Would love to take your comments, your questions as we react to this news. Am I fresh off a 10-hour drive home from Baton Rouge, Louisiana? Yes, I am, but there was no way I was allowing this Monday to come and go without me talking about this, without us breaking this down. So we are here live reacting to Chris Lemonis, who was hired in 2018 and brought Mississippi State baseball their only national championship in program history, officially being canned today, guys. The Dogs were 25-19 on this season overall, 7-14 in SEC play. But let's take a look back. And he is hired in 2018 at Mississippi State, June 25th, 2018, to be announced. Of course, he was hired away from Indiana, where he spent 4 years there, 2015 and 2018. But you look at the overall tenure. Chris Lemonis, 52-15 in year one, 20-10 in conference play. They make it to the College World Series. Great year one, obviously. You make it to Omaha. 2020, COVID, season was a wash. 2021, the magical year for the Diamond Dogs, 50-18. 20-10 in SEC play. You finish second in the SEC West, but you win the College World Series. You win the national championship, the first ever in your program's history. A very proud Mississippi State program, I might add. Here is where things really start to go sideways. And guys, we've seen this before, right? Where you win a national championship, and maybe the next year, for whatever reason, whatever it is, maybe you lost a ton of talent, which happens a ton. Maybe there's a championship hangover. Maybe you lost a lot of your coaching staff because, again, when you win a title, guys get other opportunities. Mississippi State falls off in 2022. 26-30 overall, 9-21. A historically bad year for Mississippi State in 2022. You finish dead last in the then SEC West. Then in 2023, you go 27-26 overall. Once again, 9-21 in conference play. Finish 6th in the then SEC West. Last year, give Lemonis and company credit. You had a bounce-back season, right? 40-win club with 40-23, 17-13 in the conference. You could argue that Mississippi State should have had postseason baseball to do. The bottom line is this: they did not get it, had to go to UVA, where they were eliminated in the regionals. And then we have this year, 25-19 to this point, 7-14 in conference play, and Mississippi State makes the move after losing 2 of 3 over the weekend to Auburn. Now, here is what I will say, guys, because I'm seeing a lot of, not a ton of, I'll say, I'm seeing some mixed reactions out there from some baseball people that I know, that I respect, and that I admire. Here is the reality And I'm preaching to the choir of Mississippi State fans. So State fans, hear me out. I know y'all already know this, so bear with me. But for those in the college baseball world, or maybe if you're watching this and you're not quite as familiar with college baseball, the thing that makes this so surprising is the timing. Right? Because we just don't see coaches fired mid-season or in season, because in college baseball, maybe you could argue now there's a little more to game with the transfer portal and just getting out ahead of that. But there's not really a ton to gain in college baseball firing your coach mid-season or in season. The only time we've really seen it is when guys were fired for calls, right? It was off the field stuff. It was gambling. It was affairs. It was this. It was that. It was something else. It was not just performance-based like this appears to obviously be. But here's the reality with these elite programs in the SEC on the diamond, okay? You can get away with one bad year at every place. Even a place like LSU, a place like Texas, a place like Tennessee, you can get away with one bad year. And I say bad kind of loosely because for every program, a bad year is defined differently. But for most programs, right, you missed the postseason, you had a bad year. If you're an LSU, if you're a Texas, you're a Tennessee, you don't host, you had a bad year. So you see what I'm saying? Whatever your definition is, your Arkansas, throw them in there. Whatever your definition of a bad year is, you can get away with having one. It happens. It's baseball. It's a funny game. Doesn't make it okay, but you can get away with it without getting fired. When you have back-to-back bad years, especially when those back-to-back bad years are missing the postseason, that is when you really get in trouble. Okay? That's when you really get in trouble. And most don't survive it, which is why Chris Lemonis' seat after 2023 was scorching hot, despite the fact, which we're going to get into in a moment, of winning a national championship in 2021. And again, you didn't just have bad seasons like, man, we went 13-17 or 12-18 and we were knocking on the door, but injuries and this and that, ball didn't bounce our way. You went 9-21. Like you were, for everything you did in 2021, the history you made in 2021, you were historically bad in 22 and 23. I mean, a lot of folks, most folks, including myself, you might recall, many of you probably missed this, but last year, early season, I believe it was when Mississippi State lost to Austin Peay in the midweek. I said it was time to move on. Hey, this is enough. Chris Lemonis, thanks for the memories, but it's time to move on. Like, this is a proud program, and I'm going to talk about my thoughts on the job, but, like, very proud program, very high expectations, rich in tradition, coming off a national title. It felt like maybe at that point we were in the final days of Chris Lemonis. You rebound, you go 17-13 in conference, give them all the credit in the world. Should you have hosted? I mean, that's a debate we can continue to have, but the bottom line is this. You didn't. You go on the road for a regional, and you get eliminated. It's not good enough in Starkville, guys. Okay? So you got bailed out, I guess you could say, by making the postseason. The expectation coming into this season now, I think, was very, very clearly defined. Right? And again, I'm speaking for State fans out there. So if y'all disagree, you let me know. But what I would imagine for State fans, the minimum expectation in 2025 for you to feel really confident things were trending the right way, super regional or bust. Got to get to a super regional. Probably got to host and have postseason baseball back at the dude, right? You got the best facility in the country, but you're not playing there at home in the postseason. Haven't done so since 2021, right? State fans hadn't had postseason baseball in a long time. Feels like it's been forever. So getting to a super was the expectation, because if you did not get to the super, that means one of three outcomes took place. Number one, you missed the postseason. He gone. Number two, you hosted a regional and got knocked out in your own regional. Pretty inexcusable. Or the third option, you went on the road for a regional. So you didn't have a great year. You went on the road for a regional, and you got knocked out in that regional. Still not good enough. I understand the firing. I really do. I know there's been some pushback out there, right? And I've seen, again, folks I admire and folks I've had on the show and I'm friends with. I'll say one right now because I would say he's probably the most notable voice in college football. My guy, Kyle Peterson. My guy, KP. He had very strong remarks on this, that Mississippi State should give Chris Lemonis a statue. And I'm going to read the exact tweet here. KP says, you win the first national championship in any sport in school history. Go to a regional final last year. Then get fired mid-season the following year. They should have built a statue of Chris Lemonis. He did something no one has ever done. To fire him mid-season is an absolute joke. And again, I respect the hell out of KP, but I'm going to say this. Number one, it's not mid-season. There are 3 weekends left. Like, we are at the end of the season, especially for a Mississippi State team that is 25-19 and 7-14 in conference. Can they still make the postseason? Yeah. That's the interesting thing. The timing is what's so fascinating. Should they build a statue of Chris Lemonis? Part of me says yes, because you won the national title. But, guys, the other part of me says, like, over 50% of his tenure there was not good. He had 6 seasons. You made it to the College World Series twice, and you won a national title once. Outside of that, you were mediocre to very, very bad. Like, even last year, State was okay, but they weren't great. They weren't great. And the thing in this era of college sports, and again, I get what KP's saying. You bring a national title to the university. I mean, that is something. I mean, Mississippi State had never had one in any sport. So, like it or not, State fans, Chris Lemonis' name is etched forever in history. But you look at what had taken place since the title. And like it or not, this is a what have you done for me lately business. And this also raises the question, how much time should winning a national championship give you? How much time should it give you? Should it give you a lifetime contract? Should you have a 5-year window? Should it be a 3-year window? Should it be an 8-year window? Like, what is the right answer? Because the reason I think it was the right move, you look at Mississippi State. There's no denying the way this thing was trending. Again, most coaches in this conference, they don't survive back-to-back really bad seasons. Like 9-21 in conference play at Mississippi State is a nightmare. And they did it 2 years in a row. They basically had identical seasons 2 years in a row. And he somehow survived that. It was because of the national championship. He somehow survived that. But you have 3 out of 4 bad years, and that's exactly the way this season's going. What happens in this era of sports where you are leaning on the fan more than you ever have because of NIL, getting guys in the portal, recruiting, but especially NIL, collectives. Again, you're sticking your hand out. Come on. For the roster we're building, we need you to support. Your fan base has to have hope. And it was just very obvious that Mississippi State fans, if you just talk to a few of them, you look on social media, they had lost hope in the program. And I can't blame them. Like, you watched Mississippi State under Chris Lemonis, wasn't a very inspiring product. I mean, they pitch it well at times, no doubt. This season, Pico Khan's been a dude. They pitch it well at times. Penn had some nice pieces, but offensively just kind of – there was just nothing about them that was really exciting. There's just nothing that really fired you up about Mississippi State. And I just think at some point that wears on you. And I think there's just times where things run their course, man. And this one very obviously did. Again, you look at the way things were trending. You look at the records, you look at the overall performance, look at the product, the way the product looked. And guys, the timing is what really shocked me. I mean, I saw this today and I thought this was fake. I did not think this was a real post at first. I thought it was fake just because we don't see this. So I don't know what State maybe feels like they gained here, because whoever you want to go get, we'll talk more about this tomorrow in regards to top candidates for Mississippi State. I mean, whoever you want to go get, they're still coaching, because I fully expect State to target a dude. And I guarantee you that guy is still coaching and is going to be coaching into the postseason. You might not hire a coach until late June. Granted, that's Texas how that worked. It did pretty well. But I'm just saying, I am kind of – it is fascinating, like, why didn't they just let Lemonis finish the season out? That's the one thing. Like, if there's pushback here, why not just let him finish it out? Like, what's the harm in letting Chris Lemonis finish this thing out? Let him ride off in the sunset after that, part ways. But to do it after the, seventh conference series, that caught me off guard. The firing itself did not. It did not. Mississippi State, and some out there I know, listen, rival fans will scoff, they'll talk trash, they'll say whatever. I mean, guys, to me, I know they don't have the tradition of a Texas, of a LSU, of some others, but this is one of the best baseball programs in the country in my mind. I mean, this is a premier job in college baseball. I mean, you've got arguably the best facility in the country. And guys, get this. You're at a SEC school where I could make a real argument that baseball is number one for you. They're the only school, I think, in the conference that would say that. Arkansas might be close, but State, I think, for real, baseball is number one for them. Like, baseball is the crown jewel of Mississippi State. So, you know, there's a part of me that really applauds State for this. You got a standard. I mean, Chris Lemonis just wasn't meeting it. It's that simple. The product was not good. You had fallen off a cliff since the 2021 national championship. And so while others out there, you're upset about the timing, you feel like they owed it to him. Sure. But it is a cutthroat business. I mean, it is, what have you done for me lately? And the product's just been bad for a while. I mean, again, last year you get the 40 wins. I'm not taking any of that away. But even last year it was far below the standard, I think, of where State puts themselves. And I think that's where they deserve to be. Like, I don't think the expectations are too high there. Now, making Omaha every year, like, okay, let's relax. But they weren't even remotely near the standard of the last few years. And I think, again, the fact that Mississippi State was willing to pull the trigger today, I think really speaks to how unsettled that fan base is with the product. And I can't blame them. I can't blame them. It's Mississippi State baseball is a shell of what it used to be. It's one of the best jobs in the country. You play in one of the best, if not the best ballpark, the premier ballpark in all of college baseball. And some folks might push back with the whole NIL conversation. Guys, I think if Mississippi State gets the right guy in there, they got the money. They had one donor give $8 million to football. Do you honestly think they get a dude in there, the right dude? Do you think they're not going to donate to baseball? And I'll tell you this, the rest of the SEC will be watching this hiring very closely. Because depending on who it is, there could be a uh-oh moment for the rest of the conference. Because Mississippi State, the way I view them, is a sleeping giant. I mean, this program has all the makings of a top 5 program in college baseball. There's just no question in my mind. No question. With the right guy, I think State will rally around that dude. They will invest in that dude. They will invest in the program. They'll be able to go out in the portal. They'll be able to recruit. I mean, it's one of the meccas of college baseball. So I don't fault Mississippi State at all for firing Chris Lemonis. The timing was a little interesting. And even I'm someone, hey, why couldn't we have given him till end of season? But, like, the whole, like, he deserves a statue take, like, how dare they fire him? That feels a little aggressive. That feels, you know what I mean? Like, I know you won the national championship. I get it. I'm not taking anything away from that. I get you won the national title. But over 50% of your tenure was not good. Again, it was average to miserable. Wasn't very good at all. So I'm fascinated by who Mississippi State goes after. We will talk about more later tomorrow. Top candidates. I think there's some guys out there. Listen, this is a job. Make it very clear. This is a job. Your favorite coach may not leave, but if I'm State, you're making some very serious calls. And I think this is a job where you at minimum listen. You at minimum listen. What do they have to say? What are they offering? What type of investment are they making? You at least hear them out. Again, talking to coaches, this is I think the coaches of this sport understand how good of a job this is. You're going to have some fans out there that, again, belittle it and scoff at it. I think it's well understood the kind of job this is. So, State deserves a dude. They need to go get a big-time dude. Chris Lemonis was not that guy. He just was not that guy. So, guys, I want to get into your questions, your comments. I see a bunch of you in here. Before we do, I want to tell you about our friends over at Melon Hats. You see, for those watching on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, we've got the gray, we've got the black. Melon Hats. This has become my go-to hat on the golf course, at the tailgate, around the house, even at the gym, whatever it is, man. It's become my new favorite hat because of durability, because the comfort, the fit, the way it fits my head, the sizing. And, guys, think about this. And I'm a huge hat guy. I'm picky with hats, right? I'm very picky with my hats. I am a hat dude. Some people are sneakerheads. I'm a hat junkie through and through. So I would not endorse this hat if I did not love it. Melon Hats, they're going to be your new favorite hat. And it's obviously an essential part of your outfit. What's so cool, guys, they've got a warm weather and a cool weather collection. Yes, they've got the hydro collection for cooler weather, thermal collection for warmer weather. If you're looking for a hat as tough as you, our friends at Melon are the way to go. You won't wear anything else after you get one for yourself. Go to melon.com. That's melin.com. Put it to the test yourself. Melon.com. melin.com. And tell them that Chris from SEC Unfiltered sent you. That being said, guys, let's get into your questions, your comments. I see a bunch of you in here. I want to hear from you, your thoughts. Did State make the right move? Did they not? What do you think about the timing? Is it as good a job as I'm making it out to be? And who should they go get? Gig'em Bart, what's up, Gig'em? Says, would you make a firing like this without having a guy in mind? No. Nope. I don't think so. I think you've at minimum touch base. You've at minimum touch base with some folks. Kane Campbell, Kendall Rogers basically said no chance that it is Max Wiener. I mean, makes sense. Makes sense. The Wiener will stay in Austin. Good for him. Maybe it's Nolan Kane. Maybe it's Nate Yeske from LSU. Maybe it's Josh Jordan. Maybe it's, and again, we'll talk more about this tomorrow, realistic top candidates. There's a lot of them out there. Does State go the assistant route? Do they go the G5 route? Do they go after a current SEC coach? It's going to be fascinating. going to be fascinating. Drink Local Beham. How does the hiring process work in this situation? I did see your DM today, Drink Local BM. I apologize. I was on the road, my friend. I couldn't get back to you. I don't think there's any rules here in regards to here's when we can contact, when they can respond. I mean, I think this is Drink Local Beham. This is just like hitting up a kid in the portal, right? There's really no rules here, I don't think. They can have convos. Both sides, I think, can. I mean, listen, they could make the hiring whenever. But realistically, what coach out there worth a damn is going to be in the midst of a run potentially to Omaha and is going to agree to take another job while doing that? I mean, you'd have to have no shame at all to do that, you know? And then what head, like if it's an assistant, what head coach would keep that assistant on staff and just let him do that? But can the conversations be happening? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Anthony JD says, I thought for sure that they would finish the season before they made this move. Again, the timing is what's shocking. Is the move shocking? Not at all. It's not at all shocking. The timing is shocking. It came out of nowhere. I would have waited to end of season. Because what's crazy, guys, and I didn't mention this earlier, again, Mississippi State right now, 25-19 overall, 7-14 in conference play, right? Just had a rubber match in Auburn. I mean, it wasn't like they got swept. They just had a rubber match at Auburn. And this is State's remaining schedule, okay? So 7-14 in conference, and this is State's remaining schedule. They got Memphis in the midweek on Tuesday, which will be very interesting. Guys, they have Super Bulldog weekend coming up this weekend, which is like a big deal for them. They've got Kentucky in Starkville. No midweek next week. Then they've got Ole Miss in Starkville the next weekend. North Alabama in the midweek, and then at Mizzou. So, I mean, what's crazy, they're 7-14 in conference. Let's say you swept Mizzou. Mizzou can't beat anybody. Let's say you swept Mizzou. That's 10 SEC wins. You got Kentucky at home. I mean, guys, if you can win the series, that puts you at 12. Then all you have to do is not get swept. And you get to 13 SEC wins. Not get swept against Ole Miss. And you get to 13 SEC wins, and you are in the postseason. I think the bigger thing, though, is this. Even if they'd have snuck in, I just think the definition of success there is so clearly defined. Like, they're not even remotely close to where they want to be. And some backdoor postseason appearance, being a 3 seed somewhere, I don't think that was going to move the needle for them. Still, I am surprised. I mean, again, you win the title in 21, so 22, 23, 24, 25. So what, a national title gets you 3 3/4 years? We'll call it 4, just for fun. Get you 4 years. Yeah, I mean, I would have let him ride out the season, but, Richard Holiday, he's an enigma. He won the school's first natty, but he's also the only coach in baseball history to start 1-9 in conference play. Yeah, it's weird because, again, as Richard is saying, he brings your school a national championship, so he's been historically great, unlike anyone else. He's also been historically terrible, unlike anyone else. And it's wild how quickly the taste of a national championship game will get washed away by being that bad. So it just, again, I look at it this way. Yes, you won a national title in 2021. And people will say, man, it really is a what have you done for me lately business. Well, yeah. Because you're continuing to build year after year after year. You're only as good as your program's trajectory. I mean, that goes for practically every sport. I mean, think about it. Who's the last coach you remember who got fired who was on a positive trajectory? Can you name one? Who was on a positive trajectory and got fired? That's when you get fired. When you stall out or you're going a negative trajectory. And they've been on a downward trajectory since the national championship. That's the problem. That is the problem. He won a national title, but, call it 3.5 years of bad baseball. Because they were bad last year, too, and then turned it on. I mean, they weren't good last year. They were not a great club last year. Like I said, I would have let him finish. I would have let him finish the season. But I get it. Like I'm not gonna be the one to come down on State. How dare they? How dare Mississippi State? You know what? If we're being honest, good for State. Good for State. Act like a big boy program, and you might get some big boy program results. Because you know who would do some shit like this? The place I was just at. LSU would do some shit like this. Ed Orgeron ring a bell? I know it's a different sport, but I mean, good for State. You can't be at the mercy of this guy because he won a national title 4 years ago. You can't do it. Big-time programs make moves like these. Here's the thing. If they'd have fired him in 23, okay, you could have been like, damn, he got 2 years and he's gone. 2 years. But 4? 4? 4's a lot, man. 4's a lot. So good for him. I mean, good for him. Good for him. Good for him. We'll take a few more questions here. A few more questions. Eric Simmons. I think Lemonis will get another head coaching job. I don't doubt it. I mean, Eric, once again, how many head coaches can you hire that have won a national championship? How many active coaches have won a title? This is a fun trivia question. Jay Johnson, Kevin O'Sullivan, Tony Vitello, Paul Maneri, Mike Bianco, Chris Lemonis, Brian O'Connor, I believe. Yeah, Brian O'Connor, Tim Corbin. Who else? Who am I forgetting? Gary Gilmore retired. I'm forgetting someone. I know I have to be. Anyways, it's not that many. So if you can go hire a guy who's won a national title, yes, he will get a job somewhere. It won't be SEC, but he will get a job. If he wants a head coaching job, he will be able to get one. Kane Campbell, does anyone with 12 wins ever sneak in, or do you have to win the conference tournament at that point? Yes, there have been instances where 12 wins has gotten a team in, but the numbers are not in your favor. Yes, you need to do work in Hoover. You will need to do work in Hoover. Yes. Yes. Texas rocks. I wouldn't fire a coach during the season when we could still make the postseason. That is, to your point, that is a very good point. That's the thing that's shocking. That's the thing that's shocking. But, guys, I'll say this, too, on the Lemonis. I mean, people that I've talked to that have been around there, even folks at LSU that were close to State when they came to town, guys, they were talking about how the former players there like some of the legends of state, were and are disgruntled to a great degree where the program is. You can say what you want. Did him dirty, should have given him time, that he won the title. But when a fan base loses hope and they become apathetic, attendance will start to decline. More importantly, money spent will start to decline. And that's when you have to make a move. You start to lose some fans when you lose games, no doubt. But the reason you lose fans is because they lose hope. They lose hope that it can get better. They lose hope in the trajectory. They lose hope in the future. There is no optimism. Where does the optimism come from? That's where I think state fans, from the ones I've talked to and interacted with, that's where they were at with this thing. That's where they were at with this thing. My guy Blake Ruffino, AYS, the wiener stays in Austin. Pause. Pause indeed, because the wiener is staying in Austin. Pause. Let's see. Okay, let's go ahead and wrap it up, guys. Again, we will talk more about this tomorrow. Like I said, a 10-hour drive home from Louisiana was not going to stop me when I got home from breaking this down, talking about it. The news of the day: Chris Lemonis out at Mississippi State. My guy Harrison and I will talk tomorrow, Tuesday, April the 29th, on the wind-up, which thank you all for your understanding and your patience. The wind-up coming your way tomorrow. I was on the road. Harrison had some stuff going on. Promise we will have no more delays or switch-ups on you guys moving forward. But the wind-up this week, the weekend recap show on Tuesday. Weekend preview will be on Thursday as normal. But we will talk about this and our top candidates for the next head coach at Mississippi State. We'll break all this down. Really excited to do it because I think there are some really intriguing names that could take over. Like I said, I think it's one of the best jobs in college baseball. I think this is absolutely, undoubtedly one of the best jobs in college baseball. And I will give State credit. Good on you for acting like an elite. You are not at mercy to this man. He won a national title, sure, but national championships are not the only stats. And there's a standard to uphold. And if you're not meeting that standard, your ass can get canned just like anybody else. Title or not. First in school history or not. Can't live off that forever. Good for State. It's one of the best jobs in the country. It's a sleeping giant in the SEC, and I am fascinated by who they go get. That being said, guys, as we wrap it up, I want to tell you about our friends over at FanDuel, because as always, we're brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. The wait is over. Baseball season is finally here, and you can start the season strong on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, FanDuel is celebrating the return of baseball by giving new customers $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel has so many ways for you to get in on the action, from hits to steals to home runs. They've got a lineup filled with all of your favorite bets, or if pitching is more of your thing, FanDuel has a deep bullpen of bets from strikeouts to shutout innings. So when you place your bet, it can be on almost anything, and if it hits, you'll get $250 in bonus bets. Just visit FanDuel.com/SECU to join today. That's FanDuel.com/SECU. Make every moment more a FanDuel official partner of Major League Baseball. Must be 21 and up and present in select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 and up and present in D.C. First online, real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 7 days after receipt. Restricted applies. In terms of sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org. Call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Guys, once again, appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, you can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. Till next time, I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in, and we will catch you all tomorrow, noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central on The Windup. Y'all take care.